A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant political move, the U.S. Congress has permanently lifted the sanctions imposed on Syria under the regime of ousted leader Bashar al-Assad, signaling a potential new chapter for the war-ravaged nation. This decision, which comes after years of conflict and humanitarian crisis, is expected to pave the way for increased investment and economic recovery in Syria. The sanctions, known as the Caesar Act, were initially enacted in 2019 to penalize the Assad regime for its human rights abuses during the ongoing civil war that has devastated the country since 2011. The act severely restricted foreign investment and cut Syria off from the international banking system, effectively stalling any efforts for reconstruction and recovery. However, with the Senate voting 77-20 in favor of repealing the Caesar Act as part of a sweeping annual defense package, the path to rebuilding Syria appears clearer. The House of Representatives had already approved the legislation, and President Donald Trump is expected to sign it into law shortly. Senator Jeanne Shaheen, the top Democrat on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, praised the repeal, stating that it represents a decisive step towards giving the Syrian people a real chance to rebuild after decades of unimaginable suffering. The lifting of sanctions is particularly crucial as it comes at a time when the new Syrian government, led by former militant Ahmed al-Sharaa, is seeking to establish better relations with the West. Sharaa, who has already made significant strides in consolidating power, has expressed concerns that the lingering sanctions would deter international businesses from investing in Syria, fearing legal repercussions in the U.S. The implications of this legislative change extend beyond just economic recovery. It also has the potential to influence the return of Syrian refugees who fled the country during the civil war. The UN Refugee Agency in Lebanon has indicated that the lifting of sanctions could encourage more refugees to return to Syria. Since the ousting of Assad, approximately 400,000 Syrian refugees have returned from Lebanon, with around 1 million still remaining in the country. The UNHCR Lebanon representative, Carolina Lindholm-Billing, noted that while some refugees have returned, many still face challenges, including destroyed homes and a lack of job opportunities. The agency has reported that more than 1 million refugees and nearly 2 million internally displaced Syrians have returned to their homes since Assad's fall, but the road to recovery remains fraught with obstacles. Refugees returning from neighboring countries are currently eligible for cash payments of $600 per family, but this amount is insufficient given the dire state of infrastructure and employment opportunities in Syria. The World Bank estimates that it will cost approximately $216 billion to rebuild the homes and infrastructure damaged during the civil war. Lawmakers and advocates for the repeal of sanctions argue that without the threat of renewed sanctions, international companies may be more inclined to invest in reconstruction projects, thereby creating jobs and stimulating the economy. Despite the positive outlook following the repeal of sanctions, concerns remain regarding the safety and security of returning refugees. Many Syrians, particularly members of religious minorities, continue to express fears of persecution from the new authorities. Reports of sectarian violence, including attacks on Alawite civilians, have persisted, raising alarms about the stability of the region and the safety of returnees. The situation remains complex, as some areas have calmed while others continue to experience sporadic violence. The UN Refugee Agency has highlighted the urgent need for documentation for new refugees in Lebanon who lack legal status, making it difficult for them to navigate their circumstances. As the international community observes these developments, the lifting of sanctions on Syria represents a pivotal moment in the ongoing saga of recovery and rebuilding. With the potential for increased investment and the gradual return of refugees, the hope for a brighter future for Syria is on the horizon. However, the challenges that lie ahead cannot be understated, and it will require concerted efforts from both the Syrian government and the international community to ensure that the process of rebuilding is inclusive, secure, and sustainable for all Syrians. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.